So for the fighting stick, do you like my little sticker? It was like, I need some wood sticks that like I can hold in my hand, and I couldn't find any. And I was like, I don't want to pay $16, dollars for 2 wooden dowels. So I did purchase a mop for $1.99. Well, actually like $1.67 after some weird thing at the thrift store. And then you give it to your loving, caring father to cut into some pieces. It's about the length from the tip of the finger to the elbow on Robin. So for me, that's 16 inches, so 2 16-inch cuts, because I'm afraid of saws. Yay! Now I have the basis for those lovely fighting sticks. There was another option that I had where I just put a bunch of like paper towel roll tubes and like crumple them up slightly smaller, but I didn't think that would hold. But I was like, I don't want it to be made out of metal because I don't want to accidentally hurt someone with it. These are a lightweight sort of wood, so it shouldn't accidentally hurt anyone too much. I'm probably still gonna have to get these piece bound, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But yes, so the cutting is done. Thank you, great father. The next thing, notice that this is a really bad wood. It did split a little bit, so my dad, here it is. So my dad sanded that down a little bit. I'm going to sand the paint off and like round the edges out maybe a little bit more. Because they're very sharp. Be careful with wood. And I'm gonna sand this outside. Let's go do that. Found some 80 grit. I'm basically just gonna try and file off as much of the paint as I can. And also make sure that you're rolling it as you're kind of sanding it, otherwise you'll get like flat spots in it, and that won't be fun. For the top, you can just like rub it against the flat edge and like roll around, or like cup it and roll it around for the corners that want to split. We're gonna put some Mod Podge, call it Mod Podge, over the top of the black paint to just like seal everything in. So it shouldn't really flake after that. So be careful near the edges. Looking pretty good. I'm gonna go over it with the 100 grit and maybe a little bit later over with a finer grit, but I think the 100 should be fine. Alright. Yeah, that feels pretty good to me. Gotta like brush it off, but now I'm going to do the other one, but I'm gonna conserve battery and time, so be back! So 15 minutes and some blue hands later, I've got some mostly de-blued, pretty well sanded sticks. The ends do need some more TLC, but I think that'll come with paint and Mod Podge. I'm going to like wash these off with a little bit of water and maybe a tiny bit of soap, just like really gently, and then let them like dry out. They're dry. It's time. Oh yeah. So, welcome to my bed. It's where I do my crafting. Alrighty. So basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint these now black. Now to make sure that I don't get everything black, I've got some gloves. Fuck, this is fabric paint. And you know what? Let's use fabric paint. I'm just gonna do a preliminary coating. Welcome back! So basically I let these set overnight, and I don't really have black acrylic like I thought I did. So let's get these out of here. I'm going to be trying to use, this is Mars black, and I don't know, it's not like very black, and then I have some black poster paint, which I think will stay if I put the Mod Podge, yes I say Mod Podge, underneath it. Got my gloves. This is going to be what I use for putting on the paint. I used this earlier. This is a whatever brush, and then I've got a finer brush, a like nice soft brush for putting on the podge, so that way there aren't as many streaks. So I'm going to try and mix the two paints, see if I can make it more acrylic-y like. I'm trying to keep everything on the board if possible. Okay, so actually it is a decent black look. They pretty much match. So the Mars black is ever so slightly lighter. So I'm gonna mix that all up. Oh yeah, that's good. I'm just making sure that I get it evenly colored. And this dark black should look nice in photos, shouldn't look really streaky. I hope it doesn't. I'm pretty sure I got the glossy version of the Mod Podge instead of the matte version, because the matte version, like, matte can sometimes show more streaks. But yeah, I'm hoping that this works nicely, especially because it's black. Black is forgiving. It's also really messy, but black is forgiving. Alright, I've almost finished painting it except for the little last tip. I don't want to smear anything, so I'm just going to be like holding this for like 20 minutes or so. If you really want to, you can like hammer a nail into the end, I think. But this wood is also wants to split, so I guess that's not the best option for me. But if you have decent quality wood, then you can do that and just hold it and paint it and like hang it. Alrighty, so I ended up holding these for a little bit. I went to go get my sewing machine fixed, so yay, now I don't have to hand sew everything. I'm almost finished painting the second one, and then I'm going to coat them in a bit of Mod Podge to make them look more like they're made of metal. And then, so I'm going to use this nice soft brush for that. And then I will be finished with these. Very important cosplay tip for y'all! I'm not sure if this works for fabric paint, but if you get like acrylic or any sort of that type of paint, on fabric, I learned this in 6th grade art class, put soap on it, like just any sort of like hand soap or dish soap on it until you can get it to until you can like wash it properly in a washing machine. I accidentally got some black paint on my manatee stuffy, and so I rubbed some soap like really deep into the fibers, and it is in the wash now, and I think it is done soon. My acne is so bad, I hope it gets better before con. Alright guys, so these are pretty dry after about half an hour. I'm going to do the one that's fully dry first, then the other one, because I'm going to have to hold them and do the same thing I did again. And I've got the Mod Podge. Opening it up for the first time. So I'm going to want to get a very even coat of Mod Podge on this. I'm going to try to do a very thin coat. So I've got my very soft brush. And I've got these, and I've got the Mod Podge. So I'm gonna do it just really, I need to get a better camera set up for this. It's alright if it's a little bit white at it, you just want an even white. Because it will dry clear, I promise you. You want it to be really thin and as little texture as possible. You want all of the strokes being in the same direction too, because I don't want anything to be like streaky or make it look like this is painted wood, even though that's exactly what it is. Alrighty guys, these have pretty much finished drying and I'm pretty happy with the product. It looked pretty good in photos. It looks a little textured in real life, but it does kind of look like a brushed sort of metal. I'm gonna let these finish drying for like overnight. Well, I mean, like technically, see, they're almost completely dry, but they're not like smudging too much. I'm gonna let those hang out overnight and then move them, and then, you know, they'll be good for con. Yay! So I hope this helped you or inspired you of how to make the sticky stews, whatever you call them, for Robin. And that is all I've got for you guys this time. I will see you next time.